to come, we'll be showing you how to spot gold at one of the country's many car boot sales. But first, my next guest is widely regarded as Britain's first teen idol. Generations before today's star-making machinery got into gear, he went on to be a king of stage and screen and even a respected sculptor. Now, 56 years after his first hit single, he's still treading the boards, this time as Scrooge in the West End. He says to me, every time I come on, I look old and I've got long hair. It's for the part. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tommy Steele. We don't know how you really look. You only show us
every time I come on the show, I'm doing Scrooge.
Yeah, I know.
With the long hair. It's not really like the arm. Usually I got it shorter. But...
Is it short? Now, the great thing is, Tom, I mean, you've got this record. You're going into the London Palladium. In 27th of October, you've been in there. You've got this record at the Palladium. So tell us about it.
I think it's nearly 2,000 performances now. Not in the same show, but it's over all the years. I've done so many shows there. I did pantomime there in the late 50s, early 60s. Singing in the Rain, of course. I did Hans Andersen, Scrooge, of course. Yeah. But, I mean, it's like home to me. I mean, there's so many things have happened to me. I have good shows and things happen, you know. There was one time, talking about Scrooge, it was round about Christmas time, and the box office manager came backstage to me, and because there's always this ritual that we've always had over all the years and all the performances, that the box office manager comes round and says, you know, we think the show's going to go up on time. He said, we're going to be a little bit late tonight. He said, Mrs. Mack has arrived. So I said, sorry? He said, there's a lady down in the foyer called Mrs. Mack. He said, she's come from the Outer Hebrides. He said, it's taken her 3 days to get here. She's come by boat, by bus, by horse and cart, train. He said that she's turned up with a little bit of paper. And she's walked into the box office with a bit of paper, and she's given it over to the counter. And the box office manager said, well, what's this? She said, it's from my island. She said, it's from the postmistress. And on this bit of paper, it said, the date of the performance, the seat number, signed Mrs. so-and-so, so-and-so, and stamped from this little post office. So the box office manager said, but where's your ticket? And Mrs. Mack said, oh, she said, I've got the piece of paper from the postmistress. So he said, but there's no record of you. There's no money that's come from the ticket. You have no ticket. We better go and check the seat. And they went up and they looked at, dressed, you know, a Royal Circle, B row, 27, someone sitting in it. So he went back, he said, so we were in this terrible state with this little lady. He said, the place was sold out, we couldn't get a seat for her. He said, but then I found this little, have you ever noticed in theatres, you sometimes see against the wall these little flip-down seats called an usher's seat? Yeah. He said, would you mind sitting there, Mrs. Mack? Oh, she said, I don't mind at all. And she's sitting in, and he said, so the show started. So we did the show. Interval comes. So he comes back and he said, I've just been to Mrs. Mack. He said, with an ice cream. And he said, I said to her, are you enjoying the show? She said, oh, it's lovely, she said. But when's Barry Manilow coming on?
Did you stay for the second half? I'll tell you what I did find this time, which amused me, because it's the 60th anniversary of the James Bond novels being written. It must be a little bit late, actually, because this one was in 1961, Thunderball.
I know what you're going to say.
Well, there's a quote in Thunderball, Ian Fleming. This youth, thought Bond, makes about £20 a week, despises his parents, and would like to be Tommy Steele. Yeah. I mean, what's that for, you know?
I found out about that standing on the beach in Jamaica, which was in about 1960. And I'm sorry to name drop, but I was standing there with no coward.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
If you're going to drop a name, drop a big one.
And then this fella came up with a long cigarette holder, and he said, I've just put you in my latest book. And I had no idea who he was. And they said, and I found out later that he wrote these books about James Bond. Because it wasn't until the film started coming out that a lot of people like me, that came to the books, because it wasn't that kind of... You either read those kind of books or you didn't. But him telling me that I was in his book didn't mean a lot until I saw Thunderball and realised that I was in it. Yeah?
Tom, I always feel terribly guilty when I interview you, because we talk about yourself, but also I also want to know about the amazing people you met. I mean, we talked last time about working with Fred Astaire and with Gene Kelly, and now you come out with Noel Coward. So what was your encounter like with Noel Coward?
Well, Noel Coward, he was wonderful. He used to come up with some great lines. I mean, you've heard some of the great Noel Coward lines. I mean, the famous story about Noel was at the coronation of the Queen in 1953. He's standing on the balcony of this baronial hall as the procession went by, and the Queen of Tonga, who was probably about 50 stone, was sitting there in the coach. It was open, and sitting next to her, because it was raining, was this little Foreign Office man with a little moustache, bowler hat, holding an umbrella over her. And someone turned to Noel Coward and said, "Who's that with the Queen of Tonga?" And he said, "Her lunch."
Did you stay with him out there? Because it was Ian Fleming's that was Firefly, was it?
No, he was Firefly.
No, was Firefly, wasn't it? Yeah.
And I forget what...
GoldenEye
was Ian Fleming one, yeah. And I was Point of View. We had a little house there called Point of View.
Happy days. I mean, you look back, you're still going strong. Do you still sculpt? Do you still... as the artist, you still go...
Yeah,
How does your year pan out? I mean, presumably not quite as frantic as it was, because it must take a long time to grow your hair, apart from...
Exactly. Well, half the year is taken up with Scrooge, of course, because, there's the rehearsals and there's the auditions to go through. But most of the time, I sit and I write or I draw, paint some stuff. I don't stick to a pattern. It's just that it's mostly exercise, enjoy myself, look at a lot of... I love television, of course, and I write, as you say, I paint and I sculpt.
Secret of a long life, keep active. Well, good luck with your run at the London Palladium, notching up even more dates there to make you one assailable in terms of holding the record.
And I can't wait till next year to let my hair grow and to talk about Scrooge again.
You might... Maybe come on in the middle when he got it short, then we'll believe you. Ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Steele. Well, now, talking of paintings, earlier in the programme we showed you this